So chapter 81 is about Kundalini and pranayama. The context is to do with attaining psychic powers, siddhis. But I'm not reading all of it because I don't think it's pertinent to self-enquiry. But what I think is good about it is the way the Yogavasishta keeps trying to turn these teachings back to self-enquiry, back to direct understanding. And here's an example. This is about halfway through chapter 81. Vasishta said, "When wood and the saw come together, wood is split. But when two pieces of wood come together, there is fire. All this is part of nature. In this physical body, two forces come together in the abdomen. Together they form a hollow stick. In it rests the Kundalini. This Kundalini stands midway between heaven and earth and is ever vibrant with life force." Can you feel this? Can you feel this Kundalini in the abdomen? Our body is a churning bed of emotions. And the abdomen is one where we feel particularly powerful emotions. And these emotions can turn us in one direction or the other. They can turn us towards heaven, which is towards realization, or they can turn us towards earth and conditioned experience. Dwelling in the heart, it experiences all. It keeps all the psychic centers in a state of constant vibration or motion. So we've got not just feelings in the abdomen. You probably know about chakras, these so-called wheels or centers of psychic energy. The only way this can have any real significance if you can experience these directly yourself. Which means that they're centers of emotion. They can only be experienced directly if there's emotion going on. The chakras can be experienced empirically as centers of emotion. And you can even do visualizations where the energy is going from one center to another. You can work to transform that energy if it's particularly painful. So this is actually a way of dealing with the pain body, is by thinking in terms of emotional centers that you turn your attention on, and the very act of turning your attention on them fully has the effect of transformation. It digests or devours everything. This is our essential personality. This is the engine of our personality. It's what drives us. It's what drives our experience. It's what drives how we relate to things. It makes the psychic centers tremble by the movement of prana. It sustains the fire in the body till all the essences have been exhausted. By nature it is cool, but because of it the body becomes warm. It is spread throughout the body, though it dwells in the heart, where it is contemplated by the yogi. So this is where we have to be careful about this term heart. Does it mean the heart chakra? Does it mean the physical heart? Or does it mean the heart in a metaphorical sense, as in the heart of our being? It is of the nature of jnana, knowledge, and in its light a distant object is seen as if near. Whatever is cool is the moon, the self. From this moon arises fire. The body is made of this moon and this fire. In fact, the entire world is made of these two, the cool moon and the warm fire. Or you may consider that this world is the creation of knowledge and ignorance, the real and the unreal, in which case consciousness, light and knowledge are considered the sun or the fire, and inertness, darkness and ignorance are considered as the moon. So here we've got this notion of the sun and the moon, which, as far as I know, often relate to two central channels of psychic energy. But the Yogavasishta is doing its thing and reinterpreting this as consciousness and ignorance. I don't think I'll spend much time dwelling on this because this is quite a difficult paragraph, and I don't think I can say much more about it. Even the translator seems to have a bit of a problem with it. He's got a note here. He's saying that it in this paragraph may refer to the gastric fire, life force, or even the Kundalini. Vasishta is surely not terribly keen on making and sustaining such distinctions. So really, you just have to make what you can of this. The last part of chapter 81 is concerned about the sun and the moon, or the moon and fire. And again, the Yogavasishta is trying to turn this towards self-enquiry. So we have this line here: even as a day consists of day and night, the jiva is characterised by consciousness and inertia. Fire and the sun symbolize consciousness, and the moon symbolizes darkness or inertia. So the Yogavasishta is including this teaching on pranayama, on Kundalini, and it's trying hard to turn it towards the teachings of self-enquiry, but it is rather laboured, and I think it's probably best to miss it out altogether, especially as it's in the context of gaining psychic powers. But I'll read out this passage about the sun and the moon. Fire and the sun symbolize consciousness, and the moon symbolizes darkness or inertia. Even as when the sun is seen in the sky, darkness vanishes on earth. When the light of consciousness is seen, the darkness of ignorance and the cycle of becoming come to an end. And if the moon, the darkness of ignorance or inertia, is seen for what it is, consciousness is realized as the only truth. It is the light of consciousness that reveals the inert body. Consciousness, being non-moving and non-dual, is not grasped. However, it can be realized through its own reflection in the body. Consciousness, when it becomes aware of itself, gains the world. And Rama's exhorted to remain in that state where the sun has absorbed the moon into itself. Remain in that state in which the moon has merged with the sun in the heart. Remain in that state where there is the realization that the moon is but the reflection of the sun. Know the junction of the sun and the moon within yourself. The external phenomena are utterly useless. And that's the end of chapter 81. So it culminates in the usual teachings on self-enquiry here. It's taken the sun and the moon, which are the two principal channels of pranayama, or pranic energy, and totally reinterpreted it in the context of self-enquiry. You're more likely to get some understanding of self-enquiry from this than the ability to fly through the air or any other yogic power, which is as it should be.